We're up.
All right, we're back. It's another Friday, and I'm Marshall Atkinson.
I'm Alan Howe from Easy Way.
Right, and welcome to our Q&A Facebook episode. So thank you so much for tuning in, whether you're watching with us live or you're going to watch later because, frankly, maybe you're doing something right now. It doesn't matter to us. We just want you to watch and participate. And the number one thing we're trying to do here is to help people every single week with questions and comments that you might have. You're trying to get your business reorganized because of the coronavirus pandemic or your layoffs or whatever is going on. We want to be that source of information for you. That's why we do this, right? So it's really just an hour-long Q&A session. And so the important thing here is that don't forget to write your questions in the comments. And so why should they do that, Alan?
Because you and I have no idea what we're doing.
We know what we're doing.
Yeah, we do. But you know what? Because without their questions, it's not about you and I. It's about them. It's about the community. It's about the industry. And if it's a question they're thinking of, it's going to help everybody. That's what we do.
Right. So we have a lot of people who watch, right? But not a lot of people ask comments. So don't be a lurker, right?
Let us know. Because
So here's what we'd love to have. We want to know where you're watching from, what city, your shop. If you've got a problem you're struggling with, write it out. Okay. That's the main thing that we want. We're all about sharing. Alan and I want to help you, but also there's a lot of people who are watching. Maybe somebody also has a really great comment or a tip because it's something they're doing in their shop. We want to make sure that this information gets to you. So that's our main goal here.
And I think the lurking side too, because I can see, I have another monitor and I can see who's watching on Facebook and not saying anything. I can call you out, someone from New Mexico who is watching and knows who it is now. So,
is that E-Rich?
Not E-Rich. We just called him E-Rich. He will not come on though. We got some fans on. There's some people watching. So you guys comment, tell us who you are, where you're from.
Right.
Because I will call you people out.
I don't know. Is that going to deter people from doing anything?
It probably will. I'm sorry. I won't call you out. This is why we have Marshall. He's the nice guy.
Right. All right. So while we're waiting for people to comment and get into the group, we have some prepared things to talk about. So that way we can kick things off. So the number one thing that we have for our topic, wrong one. We don't know how to run the buttons here, is health and safety, right? I have a blog article coming out tomorrow all about how to reopen your shop with the idea of what you're doing with your employees. So I thought this would be a really good topic to kick off today because a lot of people have gotten the PPP loan and they're bringing back their employees on Monday or next week or the week after or whatever their plans are. Maybe they've started to trickle in. And what we really want to make sure that we have a plan for is the new way that we're going to work, right? We've got social distancing. We have to have elevated hygiene. How are we going to work with our customers? Are you allowing them in the building, right? Or are you just going to throw stuff out on the picnic table in the front yard and let them get it? I mean, what are we doing, right? So that's kind of what I want to talk about first. So what's your kind of take on this, Alan?
Well, I know there are some clients that they are kind of limiting people coming in and how they do it. If they do, they're not, they are keeping distance. One client I know is actually will deliver, but he said, man, it's going to be, he's dropping things off to him. Right. And it was funny because, we all have these clients that he has these clients, he goes, these guys that will I hate delivering because you'll be stuck there an hour. Now it's not that. Everybody's kind of being cool about it. He goes, I dropped it off, done. And that was 3 minutes. And so that's kind of what's going on there.
Yeah. So for bringing back employees, right? And we've got people working, right? So they're in your shop printing T-shirts or embroidering or running the heat press or whatever, and we're going to keep them apart, right? And I know I was talking with a shop owner a couple of days ago, and what they did is they built a plexiglass thing on a stand. I wish I got a picture of it to separate the loader and the unloader on the press. It's kind of like, I guess, a fancy sneeze guard from a restaurant, right, so they wouldn't touch each other or infect, right? And so my immediate comment was, that's great. What are you doing about the bathrooms? What are you doing about the break room? Cleaning doorknobs and keyboards and all that kind of stuff. It's great that you're separating people, but what is going to be your new normal? Are you wearing masks? Are you wearing gloves? And the other thing that I think that we need to be thinking about is documenting what we're doing, filming it, making a little video about how we're doing, about how we're not touching the shirts or the masks if you're doing masks, and then sharing that on social media so people can understand that you're very concerned about their health. Because remember, your customers, it's all 100% about them, right? They care about them. They don't care about you. So if you show empathy, you show how safe you're being, and then you understand that, right? I think you might connect and engage with more people. So my question is, what are people doing? So if you're up and running right now, maybe share in the comments about how you're cleaning or what you're doing or whatever. We love to hear that.
I listened to a podcast, and I have an echo on my mic, and I don't know how to fix that. I'm trying. So I'm sorry about that. I was listening to a podcast from VMS Decal. They have a textile shop and a decal shop in Ohio. Some of the things they're doing is, one, they're taking temperatures, everybody that comes in. They have a crew that they got the PPP loan, and they have a crew that twice a day they're sanitizing everything. Now, this is a large industrial shop too. They have a cafeteria. And what they've done is they put garbage bags over every other seat to keep social distancing.
Oh, I like that.
Which I thought that was a great thing. So they're really going the extra miles on it, and I thought that was real great.
So what are they doing with like the microwave or the refrigerator handle?
Well, that goes to sanitizing.
Right,
so
right, good.
People are sanitizing twice a day is what it was.
Good, because studies have shown that the coronavirus lasts, I think, 2 or 3 days on stainless steel and 3 days on plastic, or maybe I've got it reversed. But it's a while. It isn't like just a second, right? So if somebody's got it on their hands, remember, we don't know who has this thing because there really hasn't been testing. So it's like one of these things where we want to make sure we're safe, so we need to disinfect. So we having a bunch of people in, so let's just do some shout outs real quick. Kisa's here. Sure. Good morning. She watches every week. I talked to her a couple days ago. She's doing great. Davis, what's going on, guys? Kitson, hey. Peter Walsh didn't like my joke, boo. What joke was that?
I don't know.
Hey, Peter, we don't understand your joke either. Charles says he's got a question. So what are your guys' thoughts on the move toward digital printing? Do you think digital squeegee technology would take over the market for large production orders, or do you think smaller order customized DTG printing will stay the norm for digital, and standard print screen printing will continue to stand up for production printing? Hey, look, we're just above the comment.
Yeah.
So here's my response to that. Is I think it depends on the market you serve. Digital printing and hybrid digital printing makes a lot of sense for a lot of people, which is why you're seeing a lot of people invest in that technology. I really like it. I think it's fascinating. And as we know, we're moving toward closer to the unit of one, especially if you're doing print on demand. You've got a web store, you know, you're not printing 5,000 of something, you're only printing 36. Digital makes a lot of sense for that, right?
Right.
Imagine how much easier it is if you have a web store and let's say there's, I don't know, 200 products up there and you've got a limited range of shirt colors, you know, gray, white, black, team color, right? And all different sizes. You can just keep the inventory over here and you can print 200 different designs with these same 4 shirt colors, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's very easy just to pull stock and print right as people order, right?
Yeah.
That's what digital's all about. Okay. And what I really like about the hybrid digital printing is the customization that you can do, right? So just imagine, and I've used this analogy before, just imagine you're doing a design for, I don't know, a car club, right? It's a car club design and it's got a Camaro on it, right? And you can do 10 different Camaro shirt colors, paint jobs, backgrounds, all this kind of stuff with the same underbase. So you can get multiple iterations of that design. And it's almost unlimited just because you're using the same underbase with digital on top, right? So this is a perfect way to sell. Matt, right now, senior design, senior 2020, you've got an underbase. And then guess what? Every shirt's different because it's the senior class picture in the middle.
Yep.
And that's where this thing really rocks. Okay. Now, how you build your business model for that really depends on your customer market. Who are you serving? Who are you going after, right? Do you have a business plan for that? I would write the business case for this. I would know and understand your math and your numbers, talk to your customers and do some market research on this. This isn't something where we're just going to like write a check and get it, right? We want to know exactly what we have. And regardless if you're buying an entry-level DTG printer or you're spending lots of money for one of these more advanced machines, you need to do the research first and build your business case for getting it, because it isn't just a shiny new toy we're going to dump into production and cross our fingers, hope it works, right?
Yeah, agreed.
Right? So what's your comment on that, Alan? I've been like pontificating.
No, you're fine. I think you're great on it. I'm a little more worried on the echo that I can't get rid of. I think with hybrid, it's a great question. I don't want to scare people, but it is a new technology. It is coming. There is capital investment, and you really have to do your homework, as you said. You need to have your business plan. You need to know what your market is to do it, because it is not a quick investment. There is a capital investment. I do think it's coming. I do think it is valuable. That's where it is. But I think we're on the tip of the iceberg of something that's bigger below the surface that might be coming.
Well, you know, I think right now, when we come out of this pandemic, how people buy, what they do with shirts, how they're doing things could be changing.
Yeah.
Right? And so it's like, what are we doing? Right? And I don't know if I used this quote last week, but I think it's still applicable, which is from Wayne Gretzky, right? So he says that good hockey players skate where the puck is, great hockey players skate where the puck is going to be.
Correct.
Right? So, right, where is the puck going to be for us? Right? It's anybody's guess, really. But in your area, in your market, with what you do and the customers you serve, what do you think they're going to demand? Right? Are they going to want to have stuff in a store and want to go to a store when there's crazy virus running around? Or are they more apt to buy online? Right? I bet online is going to work for a while, right? It's already great, right? So just look at it that way. And then, of course, with print on demand, you don't have to have any inventory. Printed anyway. You might have inventory that's just there waiting for you to print, right? That's a little different.
Right.
Okay, so Peter Walsh did his dad joke That it was on Facebook. I read it on Facebook, right? That's what he's talking about, by the way. Yeah. We won't repeat it because he shared it, right? So Daryl says, Coach Bill Walsh says it's all about the footwork, right? Actually, one of the great things that he said, it's all about the process, how you prepare for the game. That's what wins the game. His thing is the score takes care of itself, right? So if you do what you need to do, if you make your block, you make your tackle, you catch the ball, you put some effort out and run for that extra yard, the score takes care of itself.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of, I think, works in our industry too, right? So if we can put our information into our system correctly, if our artists design it because you got the right information up front, they do it correctly once and not have to make a bunch of changes, right? Okay. If you order from your distributor and get the shirts in and count them, great. If you're organized and set up your production, burn your screens or digitize that embroidery or whatever you're doing in advance and get everything set up, right? And it's just click, 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 click. Coudre's got a big thing called CPR, which is consistent, predictable, repeatable, right? So are you setting things up for success by how you're organized, how your processes work? This is in sales. This is in art department, production, shipping, receiving. It's in every facet of your company. What are you doing, right? That's all about processes, right? That's what Bill Walsh was talking about, right? If you do those things, you score the touchdowns, you win the game. If you don't, you fumble the ball on the 2-yard line and lose.
Yeah, exactly. And we have to, I think we've talked about that every week, where you have to be looking, going, what happens when we hit the bottom of this valley and on the way back up? What are you planning for now in what we've said the new normal? Before? Right. How are we looking at, one, health and safety is going to be different. Here in Michigan, they just extended the order to 15 days. And it looks like when you're out, masks are going to be almost required everywhere. Well, I don't think that's a horrible thing.
Right.
It just is going to be the new normal. So we have to be looking and preparing for that, but also within our own companies too. Where the stronger you are now, the stronger you are going to be to survive this and come out on the other side. But what are you looking to do? You got to look at it financially. You got to look at it, marketing, sales and marketing wise. What's going to change? You have to look at it production wise. What are the technologies? How are you going to be the one that survives?
Right. And then if you're bringing all your employees back,
as best as we can, yeah.
If you're bringing all your employees back, do you have masks and gloves and hand sanitizer already there?
Yeah.
Do you have signage posted in your shop about what to do? Do you have here's your favorite word, Alan, checklist of what you should be doing? Right? Do you have your checklist about who's cleaning the bathroom and the break room and who's responsible? Do you have that already set up? Or are you going to bring everybody back on Monday and just wing it and hope everybody understands?
Yeah. Do you have your protocols? Do you have your safety measures? Have you written it down? Have you made it plain so those that read it can run with it? And it's captured everywhere.
Right.
You're not doing that. It's going, well, I told them, great. Then it's a bad game of telephone. You play with the kids,
Yeah. Right. So Peter says it's important to recognize that variable data, DTG, or hybrid printing requires a robust web-to-print solution. Printers can't afford to touch hundreds or thousands of individual orders. That's correct.
Absolutely.
Right. So, Peter, do you have a robust web-to-print solution that you're offered with your digital squeegee? I didn't see that. So, just curious. Didn't mean to call you out on that, but it's just I think it's one thing that people kind of need to understand. So Jesse's here, another Arizonian.
Jesse Martinez, the water-based whisper.
The water-based whisper. That's right. So, all right. So topic 1 was health and safety. Do you remember what topic 2 was?
Topic 2 was
long game, man. We're
we
in the
long game.
All right. So right now, things are crazy, right? We'd all admit things are crazy. So, yep. Alan, what is the long game, and why should anybody be thinking about this?
Well, the long game is, again, not looking where the puck is, looking where it is going to be. And Marshall, you and I talked about this a couple days ago, and I started before we came on air. There was a guy when I started, a lot of you know I started in sales in this industry when I was barely 20 years old. And a lot of stories on that. But I went to church with a guy named Dick Clark, and he owns and started DCA Leasing, Dick Clark Associates Financing. Many of you know Dave Harding, who I see is watching. But
he needs to comment.
Him and I went to church, and when we got talking about sales, me going into sales on this, I remember he sat down with me and we talked about, you know, a very much a mentor as I'm coming into an adult age after a very rough teenage thing. And he says, you have to decide right now, are you going to be the used car salesman or are you in it for the long haul? Basically the long game. And I looked at them, I said, well, it's about getting the order. He says, no, it's about getting multiple orders. Used car salesmen go for the sale once, they hope they never see you again. What are you doing? Are you planting seeds? Are you making yourself valuable? Are you the person they want to go to and keep in touch with no matter what company they're with or you're with? That's right. It's the long games. It is about planting seeds, watering seeds where you've planted, and bearing good fruit. You plant good seeds, you bear good fruit. Plain and simple. And it doesn't happen instantly.
Right. So right now, I think a lot of shops, right? What are we doing? We're looking at this mask situation.
Yep.
And so I bet I talk to 5 or 6 people a day about masks. Should they do it? Why should they do it? Which mask? How to get it? I can't get inventory. Should I print, sublimate, embroider? I mean, there's like an endless list of variables, right?
Yeah.
And to me, the question that I come back to them is whatever you're going to do in alignment with your goals for what your customer wants. It has to be about what your customer wants and needs, not what you're trying to sell them, but what your customer wants and needs, because it can look really crazy transactional to them that you're suddenly pushing this stuff and you don't really know all the information or what to do, or you can't get the inventory, but you're trying to sell it, right? So you really need to understand this a little bit more and dive into it and get the facts. And I would argue, write a little mini business plan, right? How am I going to do it? What am I going to do? What do my customers want? Maybe you actually talk to a few. Don't just jump in and start, doing something. This mask sales, we'll be dealing with masks for years, right?
So, yeah.
You don't have to have this answer by, May 1st, right? Yeah, you need to kind of understand where you are with it before you take a wrong turn, right? And then really upset some people, right? Yep. So I would be really looking at what you're doing and making sure that it works for you and your customers before you do stuff. Because frankly, not anybody watching today, but some people can't even print a t-shirt, right?
Yeah.
Right. How are you going to print a mask that you've never printed on, right? How are you going to decorate that? Are you going to do a heat press, sublimation? Are you going to embroider? You're going to sew in a little tag, which I think looks really nice. Ron Goodwin's got a really great mask that he's doing. He's got a little woven label that's just put in the corner. To me, that is so classy. I've been talking about that for weeks. All right. So a couple comments here.
Marshall, on the long game, I know there are people that are doing things, and I'm going to say something that you don't. I know as a consultant, you have coaching clients that have suspended dealing with you. I also know that you call them all the time at no charge. That's the long game. That's showing value added. We spend now working from home. We spend a lot of time just talking to people and clients, and it's not transactional. It is about how can I help, because I am, we're all, if we don't want to say, I'm doing it because I'm a good guy. I want to think I am. And I really mean it. When I say to people, what can I do? How can I do to help? I talked to a client today, and his wife was a nurse, was going to go to New Orleans. And I was asking how that's going and stuff, because they were the hot spot. She's back yet. Because I generally care about that. I write that down. I think about them, and for me, I pray for them and everything. And I want to know, because that's what it's about. But it is about, the key with building relationships isn't about sales. Relationships are about people, and that's the long game.
Right.
And we know we can spot the BS, man. You don't want to, relational BS relationships. We all know who they are and what they do. And I don't, that's not the long game.
Right. So Peter says, speaking of long game, how important is going to be the new normal for printers to reduce direct labor by automating processes that were previously completed manually? I think this is going to be really important. You're going to see right now, we have folks. I work from home because, it's just me in my company, right? But I think a lot, and Alan, and I know he works at his house too, but a lot of people now are working from home. So their sales department, their marketing, their accounting team, their art department is working from home, right? We're also going to see is some of these processes, maybe that's automated, right? So instead of a salesperson, it's a website, right? Instead of an art department, they outsource the art to one of these companies like Graphic Source, right? Yeah. So like you're going to see a lot of that as people say, you know what, we need to reduce our labor. Also, you might see shops investing in a smaller automatic, right? So they can print faster than they can with a manual press.
Right.
Right. So you can run on a manual, all the studies that I've done over the years, and I know people print faster, but just looking at raw numbers, a manual press, multiple different types of orders averages out about 60 an hour. Yeah. Right. I know people run faster than that, but it's about 60 an hour. An auto runs about 400 an hour with a full crew. But if you're doing it by yourself, just you loading and unloading, 120 to about 150, right? So it's about double what you can get with just running a manual press. Plus, you're not as tired because you're not pulling the squeegee, right? Yeah. So I see a lot of people maybe looking into that, especially with there's going to be a lot of opportunity for new equipment out there. We'll just say that. Right?
There is, and in the long game too. And I see he just posted a comment. I already mentioned DCA leasing, and I was talking actually to Dave Harding earlier today before this, and we were just talking financially as a guy who works in the finance right there. And Dave, hey, him and his wife just had a new baby. Congratulations.
Hey, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's their second one. So they're quarantined at home, not sleeping. But you have to be looking in the future. I asked Dave, I said, all right, from a financial point of view, what should people still be doing? And he, I know Dave very well. He's my fishing buddy and stuff. And he just kind of does this sigh. And he goes, all right. He goes, it's back to the basics. It's plain and simple. He goes, you have to hoard cash, which everybody should be doing. You have to cut cost. And then, like he said, he goes, you want to streamline, you want to see where you can automate. And as he just put, 90% of the time, it's less expensive to automate than to have employees. And none of us want to, just because people are real human beings, we don't want to be the heartless sweatshop and going, we can replace you with a robot.
Right.
But you have to stay profitable on it. And I know a lot of companies are looking, going, they're realizing they can run very lean, and they're saying, what can we do to keep that? There are people, they're not calling back and not coming back. So it might be a time to do that. But he also made a point too, that you have to watch your finances pretty hard now. He said, when we come through this and all the stimulus is gone, the banks are going to lock up. They are not going to be just handing out credit like they used to. So you need to make sure you're strong and able to operate on there. Capital is going to be limited to them. So you got to start looking the long game that way too.
Sure. How many people watching right now know their numbers, right? Have actually calculated the percentage that are up or down or whatever, and also where they need to be, right? How many people know your break-even amount for your shop, right? What is your zero? I have to sell X to just pay my bills.
Absolutely.
Right? Do you know what that is? When I start working with shops, right? This is one of the things we talk about early on, that and pricing and a business plan and a bunch of stuff. And you'd be shocked at how many people have never calculated that. They don't know what their average cost per impression is. They don't know their numbers because they've never really looked at that, and they just wing it, right? So I think knowing your numbers is really important. So Mike Wilbright says, I'm looking to recreate a new vision, right? And let me tell you, Mike is onto something really great here. If you don't follow this guy, look at what he does on Facebook. He shares a lot of stuff. He does a lot of videos now, which is really great. I'm really happy to see that. He went to our Shirt Lab Portland event, which is where I met the guy. Very interesting fella. And by the way, here's some trivia. He owned and sold the domain name tshirt.com, by the way.
No kidding.
Yes. He's got a good story about that.
Yeah. And Michael is one of those guys that, I met him at ThreadX, I think it was the first time. And I've been following he just does a lot for his community and his customers. He really gives from the heart. So, man, an inspiration.
All right. So we're halfway done. So we want to get to some other topics too, but it's still important. Greg said, not the new normal, but more of the before and after as we all discover new priorities and order methodology. Employment will take a hit as we all do more with less as part of the after. Okay. So there's a phrase, money hides a multitude of sins. Right. Yeah. So we're all successful and we're just cranking it out and it's millions of dollars of, orders and everything's great. We're really heavy with our people because we can afford to be. Yep. Now we got to lean up. Right. So here's something that I wonder how many people are actually using the profit first way to run your business. Right. I think if you haven't heard of that book, it's from Mike Michalowicz, Profit First. A really great way to kind of understand your business, especially right now, is the traditional way of selling is we sell something, we subtract the costs, what's left over is profit. Profit First stands that on its head, which says we sell something, we take the profit out first, and the business has to run what's left over. Right? I run my consulting business that way, right? And I know a lot of shops use Profit First. And I think it's really interesting right now where what the new normal is. And to Greg's point, Profit First wants you to be lean. They want you to take out all the fat that you don't need, right? That extra employee. You need to have employees that are team work, and they're focused, that they hustle. They're just not, we got some people, they can fog a mirror, so we'll employ them, right? Yeah. We got some people that are actually helping us score touchdowns, and that's what we need, to circle back to the Bill Walsh comment, right?
Yep.
Okay, so where are we also? Dave also says $100,000 cost of equipment is only about $2K a month, and you can't hire a full-time employee for that amount. Pretty interesting.
Very interesting.
David Edgar says processing artwork through a service affects the bottom line in so many ways to the advantage of the company. Speaking of long game, they think of the long game or do their work with mistakes without charge. great way to go for the profits.
I agree. I think in many cases it does, especially services like graphic stores. Nick Woods there, who I know pretty well. He, these services have become great. I know some of the ways that a couple of clients are calling is, going to be cutting back as they bring people back. A couple are artists, and not because they're bad people, but they thought they needed them, and they're realizing they're not that great. Yeah. And they're just not flexible to learn. And so they probably won't, they've made themselves irrelevant, and that's sad. Because now there is a service that will do it.
And as an ex-art director, I hate that.
Yeah, I know you do, but yeah.
Hey, Kisa says, my copy of Profit First arrived this morning. We talked about this book on a phone call the other day. So I'm really happy that you got it. So I'll be calling next week to find out what happens.
Kisa, if it arrived this morning, that means through Amazon or something. You probably ordered it 3 weeks ago, right?
Yeah.
Because I ordered Story Branding by Donald Miller like 2 weeks ago. It's supposed to be here this Sunday. So it's like forever.
Yeah. So the new model for B2B relationships, Peter says, is in social media is suspect, prospect, customer, client, with the highest level being fan. A fan will tell countless others that you are the best choice to provide a product or solution.
We love fans.
Awesome comment, Peter. And this reminds me to talk about referrals, right? So what is the number, Alan, do you know what is the number one reason why people don't give out referrals?
I don't think I know.
Fear.
Because people don't ask for it.
It's fear, right? So fear is the reason why. So and the reason why I don't refer you, right? Not you, because I refer you all the time. The number one reason why we don't give referrals is we're afraid that they're going to mess up and I'm going to look bad.
Yeah.
Right? So if you want more referrals, fans that will do that, you have to be referable.
Yeah.
What makes your company referable? Right? If you don't know that question, right, that's the reason why you're not getting your referrals.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You have to be referable in order to get referrals. Right? And so where does this show up? This shows up in Google. Or you get a 5-star rating. So-and-so is awesome. Right? That kind of stuff. Right? Yeah. And so also, just asking your customers, hey, would you mind referring me to somebody? No, I would never refer you.
Yep.
Well, why not? Right? Ask that question. Be brave enough to ask that, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
So Trevor says, Mike has a lot of great books. Clockwork is my favorite. I like Clockwork, right? It's all about systemizing and touching on Profit First as well. Highly recommend. And he's got a new book that's coming out. I've pre-ordered it. It's supposed to ship in May, I think. It's called Fix This, I think. I think that's the title. I can't wait to read it. Allison Banholzer actually has it, and I think she's already finished it. So
have I mentioned I love Allison?
she's your favorite person, I think, right now.
She has been so inspirational just through this.
Right.
I do. So I don't know.
All right. So our next topic is communication.
Yep.
Right. And so we wanted to chat about this because I think these days, I think it really matters how we're doing, what we're doing, how we're communicating with our customers, with our employees, with our vendors, the choices that we make, the language that we use, the confidence that we exhibit, I think really matters right now. And I think what we're posting on social media matters. And I don't want to be calling anybody out, but you see a lot of this stuff in Facebook where people are posting stuff that's just it's a little ridiculous, and it makes you look kind of silly, right? So I think we need to be kind of really cognizant of what we're throwing out there, right? And what we're doing and what we're communicating. So, Alan, what are your points about communication that you think that really matters for people watching today?
I think, first of all, I'm going to comment. You and I have talked about this on some of the things people post on Facebook, and I'm like mortified at times. And there are people that could be rising stars and stars. And I think I mentioned, we won't mention names, but I told you, I said they're going to flame out. He said, this is just not going to last. You still have to be professional. You can have an opinion, but it's not about the conversation of who the people you're talking to. It's about the thousands upon thousands others that are looking at it and are clicking off you going, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
I would never do that. And yeah. And you know what? I do thank God more. We didn't have social media when I was younger because I would have been an idiot. But I did have people around who would say, all right, youngster, angry young Alan, what the bleep are you doing? And that would call me back. And I you can never at that time when it's happening know how valuable that would be 33 years later.
Yeah.
So we're posting stuff. Everybody's anxious. Everybody is not sure what's going on. We get angry and we just go and post. Don't do that.
Right.
Think about it. Think about the long game. It's still in the long game.
Sure.
The one on communication. Social media is a great tool. It could also be, a very dangerous tool in the wrong hands. So that's my soapbox thing. I think communication is going to change too on there. I'm already looking things like this of doing stuff with you and I. We came out of ThreadX. My buddy Jason Rink talked, and I've already bought stuff, to start communicating in a different world. I have a 12-inch LED ring light above me. I am going to be ordering a camera. I'm going to be getting a better microphone, people. I will. Because I'm going to be planning for my company that I work for and represent and myself to be as profitable, to be as proactive in what I can do. I'm going to start, doing more emails with programs like Soapbox, where it's a video and just putting myself out there. I think communication is going to be different. We can't, while places might start to open up, travel is not going to happen. And on Two Regular Guys, earlier today I heard Terry Combs talking about as a guy who's a road warrior, and that's what I am. I've been a road rat for 30 years. So at first I'm climbing the walls. I'm having these very, very weird dreams about the comfortability of a Holiday Inn and a plastic egg breakfast. So there's an adjustment.
Yeah.
But you know what? As I take a deep breath and adjust, you know what? I have to physician heal thyself. We talk about it. In the new normal, what should I be doing? What do I need to be doing? And I have to look down that. And I think I can do. Someone has a technical problem, camera on their phone, show me. Oh, here's what I'm using. Here's how it's going. Here's what's going on. And here's the video of the guy doing it. And we can do as much as possible like we're doing right now. And that's going to be the new communication, the new service. And I don't think that's a bad thing.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you, your lighting looks fantastic. You don't look like you're in the dark anymore.
Thank you. I'm looking a little red. I mean, that pasty pink from not being out in the sunlight because it's Michigan and it's snowed 2 days ago.
You're just embarrassed about your shaving.
This is my, what did I say online? I said, yeah, don't worry. I'm looking like a goblin. So I have to go before I come on camera and de-goblify myself. But yeah, I haven't shaved. And just so everybody knows, I'm not like certain people, my co-host, who can grow facial hair in minutes. I'm not a Sasquatch. My father and brother can grow a beard in an hour. Me, this is 2 weeks of not shaving.
Well, we can be lazy.
What happens?
Hey, at least you're wearing pants, okay? So
we want to hope we are. I will not stand. No, yeah. So from working at home, I think this is something, and I heard again, I mean, you and I both listen. I was on the phone doing stuff. You said, man, Two Regular Guys is killing it. And I told you, I flipped it on right there. Terry was talking about working at home. We have all been thrown into that. You've done it, Marshall. I've done it for years. I haven't been in an office in like years and stuff. When I worked with tech support, I'd go in at times. But yeah, mostly I'm at home. And you have to start planning your day. You cannot sleep till noon. No. You do have to get up. And my best days when I don't feel like getting up and walking the 20 feet to my office are the days I need to get up early and walk 20 feet to my office. Take a shower. I remember early on in my young days when I realized this, I would put on a pot of coffee. I would take a shower. And when I'm really feeling bad, I would put on dress slacks. I'd put on dress slacks and a dress shirt because that was the dress attire at the day. And I would go in my office and I'm working.
Yeah.
And you have to do that. You have to have a plan. Don't come out. He talked about a guy coming by his house and family and friends stopping by because they see your car there. And he goes, what are you doing? Well, Terry said, I'm writing an article. And he'd go, oh, you're not working.
Yeah.
And I would have friends going, they'd see me off the road. I'd come in and it's like they got to the point, because I had, I'm in my 20s. I had a house, I had multiple rooms. I had friends of mine renting other rooms. They'd come in and they'd see my office door closed. It was like, where's Alan? He's at work. But then they'd realize I was in that door. I could have been 300 miles away. I'm at work.
Right.
Don't bother them. And yeah, you have to do that. You have to dress for work every day and do it. And that's going to be part of communication. And hit the phone, hit your emails, have your list, have your checklist, and do it.
Yeah, so let's get to some comments, Alan. So Charles says, we have a competitor shop.
I'm sorry, I just put up there.
Yeah, it's okay. And the social media post the owner puts up makes me wonder how they stay in business. Yeah, so here's the lesson is people watch what you do, right? And they judge what you do. And so one of the things that I've been talking about a lot is if you don't share your story, right, people make up in their heads what they think you're doing. Mm-hmm. So the stuff that you share, if it's irrelevant, that makes you look irrelevant. If you share stuff that is super important, that's valuable, people think, wow, that guy really knows what he's doing. He's valuable, right? So case in point here, I've been writing a lot of blog articles lately about what's going on and how people can do and that kind of stuff. I've signed up 2 new clients lately, and I think a major reason why is because of the content that I've been sharing. And they say, hey, maybe he knows what he's talking about, right? So I think it's one of these things where you need to understand that when you post something, this is the 90-9-1 rule, right? 90-9-1 rule. 90% of the people that follow you, that on your little group, will read that comment, right? Only 9 people will actually like, share, comment, retweet, whatever, right? Just like here, we've got people watching, they're not commenting, right? And then there's only 1% of the people actually create the content that everybody enjoys, right? Nobody, like very few companies are actually doing this type of thing like Alan and I are doing right now, right? Yeah. Because guess what? It's work, right? It might look like we're having fun, right? But we put effort into this, right? Yeah. So it's hard to do. It's hard to show up and be consistent every week, right? So only 1% of the people are doing that.
Well, and we have to put on the happy face. We've talked about that last week. We're all in the same boat as everybody else. I love working for EasyWay. I don't want it to go away, that job to go away. I don't have to, not make a house payment and all that stuff. We're all there. I may not own a business like you guys do, but we are all there. And I have the same issues, same fears and everything like that. And when we come on this, we flip it on and it's like, smile. We gotta have that, but we are all there, and that's called community, man. And it is hard. And I'm trying. I know I'm worse because when I have an echo, then all of a sudden I realize I'm moving around. I'm trying to fix things. I've got to learn to relax, and technical things happen.
Right.
So, trying to make a little more patient, Alan.
right? So Daryl says, talk about how we can use Zoom to sell our clients, right? So like anything, you have to have a plan, right? So how are you using Zoom, right? You need to, you have to learn the technology, right? You have to learn how to do a Zoom call. You got to learn how to schedule it, how it's going to work, how your client's going to click in. I can't even tell you how many Zoom calls lately, a ton. And I use them for my coaching. I use a lot of stuff, right? What I can tell you is that even though you think you know the technology, your customer might not, right? They don't get it. They have to log in. That there's a login number, or they forget that, or I can't tell you how many times I've actually had to call someone and go, hey, you're supposed to sign in 5 minutes ago. Are you okay? What's going on? So just understand there's the mastery of the technical aspects of using Zoom or Skype or whatever platform you're using, right? So you have to understand that. So what does that mean? It means you need to practice, right? So Daryl, if you need some practice with Zoom, get a Zoom call, arrange it with me, and we'll have one.
Daryl would love to do that.
Be the guinea pig for you so you can learn how to do it. Okay.
I would love to be on that too. Bring us in. We could always use the practice. I would love.
Yeah, right. So, and then the other thing is I would have a list of goals that you want. So just like with a normal telephone call, right? What are you trying to accomplish with the call? You don't want to be wasting their time, right? So have a list, write it down. This is the 5 things that I want to talk about. A really great tip that I do, especially if you're doing a Zoom video call. What did I do? A Zoom video call is to write it down, little bullet points on a Post-it note, and you paste it right there underneath, right here, underneath the camera lens, right? So as you're looking at the lens, you can read what you were supposed to talk about. So these are the 4 or 5 things that matter, right? There you go, just like that, right? 4 or 5 things that matter. So the whole time you're looking at the lens, it's really important. You can't see my camera right now, but I stuck an arrow with a little sticker pointing at my lens to remind myself to look at the lens, right? Yeah. Because if I look at the lens, it looks like I'm looking right at you. That makes the calls better and more engaging as a person, right? Yeah. If you're looking at your keyboard or you're looking at your thing or you're writing something down or whatever, you're not being engaged. You want to look exactly at the lens. I think that really matters here. And then also lighting, microphones, all that kind of stuff, right? So all that really matters.
Yeah.
The background behind you, is it junky, right? Does it look like you need to clean your office? Or are they going to think, oh my God, he's a slob? Look at Alan. He's got all these awards. Makes him look like he knows what he's talking about.
It's a green screen.
Yeah, get a green screen. Right. Yeah. I like black, right? Because I think it just looks classy. But I bought this background. I have black, white, and green screen. I just like the black. So anyway, hopefully that helps you, Daryl.
And, Marshall, just to reiterate, I think lighting is important. Your background's important. In fact, when I first did my first couple of Facebook Lives, I remember Marshall called me, goes, great job, great content. What's with the closet door? That was my background where my desk was. And, that made me look, so what I did is clean my office, rearranged it, and moved my desk where I'm going, I don't have a background. Okay, I didn't know how to use green screen. Okay, that's the wall behind me.
Yeah.
I'm trying to throw off, but okay, there it is.
So I think aesthetics matter. All right, we got 5 minutes. How many do we have all our topics done? All right, here's your last one. States opening up. Where's your checklist?
You have your checklist, right?
Right. That's your favorite thing. Where's your checklist?
Allison Van Holzer. Yeah. Talking about, do you go through your checklist. You know what it is. You have your checklist, right? That means get it. You don't have one, do it.
Right.
So, I don't know. States opening up. Everybody on here has a different opinion when, how, what it should do, when it should do. And that's not the topic. The topic is, what are you planning on doing? as things opening up in your market for your market.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, exactly. So what are you doing? What matters? If you're bringing employees back, right? What's going to happen if there's a second wave or somebody's sick? Are you paying them to stay home?
Yeah.
What's your HR policy for that, right? Do you know already? I would think that you should really be thinking about that before you bring employees back, right? Yeah. If you're not going to pay them, fine, don't pay them, right? But you need to be able to tell people what you're doing, right? You can't just, these days, you can't just make it up as you go, right? I think you really need to plan. If you need to change your employee manual, change it, right? If you need to work with a HR professional in your area, there's probably if you don't have somebody, there's probably a local chapter of SHRM, which is the Society of Human Resource Managers. You can probably reach out to them and find one that works for freelance, or maybe they've got some language that you can use. SHRM is awesome, by the way. And if you're looking to hire an HR person, make sure they are a member of SHRM, because there's a lot of accreditation and classes and ongoing education that they take, that type of stuff. So just like an accountant, right? There's stuff that they need to learn. Right. And of course, different states are going to have different rules. So what's going on with all of that, right? You really need to be understanding. If you're going to need testing, right? Where is testing in your area? As the employer, you're going to be asked that because your employees assume that you're on top of this stuff. So don't let them down, right? Really understand what's going on. And if there's no testing, there's no testing, because it's not everywhere, right? Alan shared a link with me yesterday. In Michigan, there's a bunch of people that they have testing, right?
Actually, if you open that link, it's all over the country.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's in different states. So, yeah.
So I think that was with Rite Aid, right?
Well, Rite Aid is a drugstore up here, and that's who sent it to me, because that's where any prescription and stuff I get. Right. And it was sent to me, and I looked at it, and I'm like, oh, it has a bunch of states. So different places and stuff, and where to sign up and get an appointment. And, I don't know the details on it, but I thought, okay, this could be cool.
Right.
I know my sister-in-law was not feeling good and called the doctor. They did one. They said, yeah, you and your husband might need to be tested. And they did. Thank goodness it came back negative.
Right.
So, but got it going. So we got to have the checklist of stuff like that, how to be safe. Daryl Garcia, selling social distancing bundles post-shutdown. Very nice. What are we doing? And this goes to looking in the future. One of the only things the good thing that might have come out of all this, it is giving a lot of us the gift of time. And you don't want things to open up and all of a sudden you're back into the same boat of just, I'm cranking out orders. We want that from a sales thing. And you have not changed one moment, one thing, and not went through one checklist. And that, I think that would be a travesty.
Right.
And a waste of time.
So we only have a couple minutes left. I just want to burn through some comments real quick, and I appreciate everybody writing. I probably won't be able to do them all. Keith, hey, I wanted to talk to you today, so look for a phone call from me. He got the new Brio Cam, which is the one that I use. It's the one that Jason Rink talked about at ThreadX.
Yep.
I bought it like the day after ThreadX, and then after the coronavirus, it went up like $40 or $50 on Amazon. It was crazy, right? And it shows everything, right? So I think it looks great. It's got a fantastic microphone, by the way. So that's good. And then Peter, our resident comedian, says, meanwhile, back in Georgia, aka the open state, hold my beer while I slip on downtown for massage, a haircut, and a tattoo. I'll be home after me and the boys finish up our weekly bowling league. Yeehaw.
Well, that was cruel. That was cruel, Peter.
Keith says I paid $2.75, way more than $1.99, right? I think mine was $1.99. Maybe it was $1.69. I can't remember. It wasn't too bad. But my previous webcam was like $50. But this one's way better, has a lot more controls to it. I really like it. And so I actually bought a stand. And so what I've noticed is that when I was looking at I was doing the camera, I have my monitor, I was looking at the monitor to kind of check out how he looked. And so I wasn't looking at the lens as much. So what I've done is I've offset my camera so it's not actually in front of or on top of my computer monitor. So I'm constantly looking at the camera. And I think it's better for me. I don't know if it works for you, but that's what I'm doing.
Yeah. Yeah. Good.
So a couple things. Where is it? shirtlabsummit.com. Please, please, please sign up for this. We're wrapping some stuff up right now. I've got some things we're doing today and next week. And we probably May 1st, you're going to be bombarded with stuff about Shirt Lab Summit, but we want people to sign up. It's just a landing page now. And as soon as we release some details, you'll be the first to know. So please register. The only way that you can participate is to register. And basically what this is a 3-day online summit with over 30 of the best and brightest in the industry sharing their rocket sauce about what makes whatever they do fantastic. Alan's participating with this, and he had a really great segment. And so it's going to be really great. It's June 1st through the 3rd, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Monday is going to be about sales. Tuesday is about marketing. Wednesday is all about operations. So Alan's on day 3. So it's going to be really great. I know you're going to learn an incredible amount of information that you've never even considered from these people. And it's not just national. We have international folks. Mark Gervais, I interviewed him from China. And so he runs a shop with 95 automatics. So what do you think you can learn from that guy, right? So it's there's a lot of information. It's going to be a lot of fun. So please sign up, shirtlabsummit.com. Look for a lot of information from that. I think it's going to be fantastic. It's 100% free. So we have some upsells and stuff, but it's free for you to watch. So what do you think about that, Alan? What's your take on our summit?
Well, you got an incredible lineup, and I think there's some people that maybe within our circles haven't heard before. Mark Gervais, of course, is incredible. He's a great guy. I know Mark personally. I've never been to his shop. He manages Ningbo in China, which has plants in China and Vietnam and stuff. He's an American. It is the largest screen print company in the world. So I'm really looking forward to hearing what Mark has to say. He's a good printer in his own right, but yeah, just going to be a wealth of information. I'm excited about Brian Walker from IJ Technologies that you have. And I hope I can mention some of these people.
Oh yeah, please. Who are you looking forward to hearing from? I sent you a preview.
What did
I send you a couple days ago? What did I send you?
Yeah, you sent me the preview. It looks great. So the ones, again, like I said, Brian Walker, I'm really, and I get maybe a little more compassion about people that I know, that I've heard before, that I know them personally, but I've never heard them speak. Brian is such a great, interesting guy. I think it's going to be a great segment. Hopefully that went well. And he is very entrepreneurial. He has had his pulse. He started as a screen printer and had his pulse on direct-to-garment in that industry from the beginning. And he is a guy that I'm not sure he looks in the present, maybe only 15% of the time, and he's looking the other 85% into the future, into the crystal ball of what it brings. So I think that could be good. I'm really looking forward to him, I think, is the first one that I said. So
I did his. It was really good. So
yeah. There's just, and then guys that I've heard before, Tim Williams from the YR store is going to be good. There's just, everybody. Lana is there. Lana's always good on there. being a screen print guy, I can't wait to hear Mark Gervais. Can't wait to hear Lon. Can't wait to hear what everybody else has to say. So,
right.
Marketing guys, I think, are just going to be incredible.
Yeah.
It's going to be
websummit.com. And then if you need to reach out to us, you can find Alan at iamanahow@gmail.com.
Yep.
And then here's me, of course.
Marshall Atkinson.
All right. I think that's going to do it. Any last minute, anything?
The only thing I was thinking of, and I probably should have spoke up a little more on communication. We want to communicate with our customers, but this is a time to build your relationships and think about your relationship with your suppliers, shirt suppliers, your screen print suppliers, your digital suppliers. And it goes back to anybody can be you can order from anywhere online, but do you really want to? Communication, everybody is in the same boat. This is, you're more compassionate with people who are your partners than you are the guy that is just working you for another dime, another nickel.
Right.
And you need to look at, this may be a good time to evaluate who are your partners, not who you order from, not how much money you spend with them. You can spend $5 million with them, but if you drag them out 180 days, as a shirt supplier, you're not going to be that valuable.
Right.
You can be the largest purchaser of a product, a chemical and ink, and if you do not have a relationship and you work them for every penny, yeah, you want to have value, but you've got to have partners on it. And this is where, online, I can order from anybody. It might not be the best thing. And now's the time to start building relationships and maybe repairing relationships. And it still goes back to the long game. I think it's very difficult on online sales to have the long game. You can order online.
Yeah.
You can that, but it is still, the long game is personable.
Here's the thing, and I'm just going to throw this out here. How many, for anybody watching, what suppliers or vendors have called you to check on you right now? Right? So they have reps, they've got stuff. I know Alan's on the phone all day with his customers, right? So
are missing, but yeah, I try to.
Right. So what's going on, right? All right. So that's kind of wrap it up. We're a little over, and we all have things to do today, right? So
yeah.
Anyway, so if you've got any questions about anything I can do to help you, please reach out to me, Marshall at marshallatkinson.com. And Alan, sign off here. Take us out.
Did you see Greg Kitson's post? He just put, it cracked me out. I'm sorry I laughed like that.
That how guy.
I actually just talked to Greg and his company just before we went on. So thank you, Greg. You're a good man. Daryl Garcia, I can't wait to meet you. I hope you do a Zoom. Include me in. I would love to, because I don't think we've ever met face to face, but I think that would be great. So
yeah.
Thanks
all right. Hey, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you. And if you got any questions that you didn't want to post publicly, let Alan and I know. We're happy to help you. Okay.
Yep. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a safe weekend.
Have a great weekend.
Have an incredible weekend.
Hey, we'll see you next week.
Friday at noon.
Same bat time and channel.
And we just dated ourselves. Those of you that know same bat time, same bat channel, let us know next week.
Hey, shut up, Boomer.
Exactly. All right, man.
Right. See ya. Bye.
Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
All right.